Hey guys, Mike here. So today's cult classic review is 1986's Ferris Bueller's Day Off, starring Matthew Broderick as Ferris Bueller. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, a high school wise guy is determined to take the day off, despite what the principal may think of that. And so we have Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So guys, this is a movie in the series before watching and reviewing it today. I had not seen it before. Not that I've had any great ambition to watch this one or really go out of my way to watch it. Not that I thought this movie was going to be bad in any way, it's just I wasn't in a massive rush to see it. But in any case, what did I think of Ferris Bueller's Day Off? It goes without saying that Matthew Broderick in this is really good. He has a likeable personality, he's charismatic, and he's really funny as well. And all of this just works together to make him a really interesting character. And one of the most standout things about Ferris Bueller is the fact that he breaks the fourth wall, speaks to the audience directly. But having said that though, I wouldn't say it's one of the things that defines his character. When people talk about Ferris Bueller the character, they don't immediately say that he breaks the fourth wall and that's what makes him a great character. It's not like Deadpool who breaks the fourth wall and speaks to the audience. With that character, it is very much one of the things that makes him stand out, and it really plays in well to what makes the character funny. And while it does the same thing for Ferris Bueller, I wouldn't say it does it to the same degree or has the same necessity as it does for Deadpool. But having said that as well, it's not something I would really take out of the film, because it does aid to make the character stand out just a little bit more. And while Ferris Bueller's character doesn't have the most amazing of character development, there is definitely some there, and it is very noticeable. It's not so much that he's taken this day off and he's really reflected on his whole life and he's going to change his whole personality and everything that he does. It's more the fact that he's been selfish to the people around him and he wants to try and do better. And that comes in later when he starts acting a lot less selfishly. Granted, his selfishness was never malicious in any kind of way. It was more the fact that he just really wanted to kind of do what he wanted to do, and he never really stopped and thought about anyone else. It's never really so bad that he makes people do stuff that they really don't want to do. It's more the fact that he wants people just to have as much fun as he does, despite the consequences. And if he kept doing this throughout the entire film, it would have made him a really bad character, I think. But because of the fact that he really takes a look at himself and sees what he's doing to other people and he learns from it, that's what makes him, again, a really good character for me. And as well, the rest of the cast in this are really good as well. I love Ferris Bueller's friend Cameron. I think he had a lot of interesting character development, because throughout the film he's really hesitant to do really anything with Ferris. Even though he's pretty much his best friend, he doesn't really want to take a lot of risk, he doesn't really want to break the rules. But throughout the film, Ferris helps him come out of his shell, and he realises that he doesn't have to be like this. And he realises as well that pretty much the cause of all his unhappiness is from his father. Because the main thing that Cameron worries about is his dad's car. The kids obviously steal it and they drive it around the city. And throughout, Cameron's worrying, we need to get this car back, we need to get it back quick before my dad finds out. And he has the sad realization that his dad really cares about that car more than he does him. And because of this, Cameron decides that he's going to confront his father about all his feelings towards him. He doesn't really care what will happen if he does, he just really needs to get it off him. But my only problem was that we didn't see any kind of resolution to this character arc. Sure, we saw that he was going to confront his father, but maybe if we had just one little scene where we could see him actually confront his father. You know, something like he's sitting in the garage and the car's obviously not there. His dad walks in and you see just the dad from behind. And then Cameron just stands his ground and looks at his dad. Just anything like that would have had a more of a satisfying character arc for him. But having said that though, it didn't ruin the whole character's experience for me. I just thought that it would have helped to have that one little extra scene. And then you have Ferris's sister Jeannie, who upon first glance I thought that I was absolutely gonna despise, because she didn't really seem to have anything else to her except being an arsehole, which a lot of characters do point out about her. She's always got a bad attitude, she's constantly complaining about her brother, the fact that he gets away with things all the time, and it just gets really irritating. But the reason that I find that I don't absolutely despise this character is because they kind of learn from this, they have a hard look at themselves, and they realise that all of their, anger isn't because of their brother, it's more about themselves. And I think another reason why this character works really well is because she's such a great parallel to Ferris. Whereas Ferris is really nice, really charming, and really open, she's kind of on the complete opposite end. She's really closed off, she's really angry, and she's just pretty much miserable all the time. And as well, I liked Principal Rudy as well. His character isn't really there for anything else except to be a comedic character, because throughout the whole film he's in pursuit of Ferris Bueller. He wants to prove that Ferris is a bad influence to all the other students, and he doesn't really care what lengths he has to go to prove it, he just knows that he is going to prove it. But I would have liked the character to be a bit more on Ferris's trail, because for pretty much most of the film he really isn't anywhere close to him, and it doesn't really feel like he's anywhere close to getting him either. Sure, there are these one or two scenes where he's not looking at the TV, or he should be looking out a window and he might actually see Ferris. But even if he actually did see Ferris in these situations, he'd never be able to get to him quick enough to make any kind of impact. Because, well, if Ferris actually knew that he'd saw him, he'd easily be able to get away because he was never anywhere close to him to actually make a difference. Still, a funny character nonetheless. And obviously the film as a whole is very funny, but I'd say the biggest standout comedy in the entire film is with its timing. It's these scenes where his parents are close to him and he manages to evade them, or he doesn't even know that they're there as well, but he just gets lucky and he manages to evade them as well. Whether he's running beside a car and his parents didn't see him, or he's driving down the street and again they didn't see him, these scenes were brilliantly executed. And as well, it's just amazing to see how many scenes are ripped off in Family Guy from this film. Seriously, if you played a Ferris Bueller's Day Off Family Guy drinking game, you'd be absolutely smashed before the halfway point. But amazingly, I found that the comedic effect of the scenes wasn't ruined because I'd already seen them in Family Guy. Sure, they probably weren't as funny as they probably would have been had I not seen the scenes before, but nonetheless, they weren't completely ruined either. And I say another amazing thing about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's just fun. It's one of these films that doesn't really worry about the consequences. It doesn't stop and ask loads of questions about life or anything like that. It's just a film about a kid who wanted to have a day off from school and gets into some outrageous hijinks. Because when we were all younger, we all wanted to have a day off from school, or probably do something like Ferris Bueller did in this film. And that, at the end of the day, is the most relatable thing about this film. So guys, would I consider Ferris Bueller's Day Off a personal cult classic, and would I recommend that you guys should see it? It's easy to see why Ferris Bueller's Day Off has achieved cult classic status. It's got really good characters, it's extremely funny, and it's got a nice even pace, and it's just a very enjoyable film. And I can easily see why so many people call this one a cult classic. It's just for me personally, I wouldn't consider this one a personal cult classic. Not for any lack of quality, it's just, even though I really enjoyed this one, it didn't resonate with me as much as it probably did for a lot of other people. But as for whether or not you guys should see it, even still, I would highly recommend that you should check out this film. Because at the end of the day, it's just a nice, simple, enjoyable, funny film, which if you've got the time of day, I really recommend you should check it out. Okay guys, that's my cult classic review of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Whatever you think, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!